Hi, I'm Thumper. And when I ran Ironman Kona and crossed the finish line, it was such a huge accomplishment. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I almost didn't finish. I got 3 miles into the marathon and I was so dehydrated and I felt so nauseous that I just had to stop running. I started walking and I looked over at my sister who was running with me and I told her, I'm not gonna make it. You keep going, you're running a great race, but I need to walk. And she looked at me and told me, I'm not leaving you. And she stuck with me for the next 23.2 miles. Together, we walked. At times we jogged. At times we did something that was kind of between a walk and a jog, more like scooting. But one foot in front of the other, together we made it to the finish line and heard the words, "You are an Ironman." You know, as an F-16 and T-38 instructor, I've seen this type of thing happen with my students, where they're in the middle of a sortie and they just make one mistake. But then that one mistake leads into another mistake. And then the focus on that mistake leads into another mistake. And little by little, these mistakes just build on each other and start snowballing downhill until they fail the whole sortie. How do we, in our life circumstances, avoid this type of snowballing effect? Well, for me, I've learned a concept I call bounce back, finish strong. Bounce back, finish strong means that when you fail, whether it's a big failure or a small failure, that you realize that that failure does not define who you are. At your core, you have inherent worth. And knowing that allows you to become more resilient, to keep getting back up and trying again. Next, you need mutual support. When you are struggling and you're going through a difficult time, you need people around you who are going to build you up, help you, and sometimes carry you. When I was at Kona, for me, that was my sister. Who are the types of people in your life that you can surround yourself with that are going to pick you back up when you're falling and help you when you're struggling? And finally, you need to think baby steps. When you're looking at a whole race or a whole sortie or whatever it is that you are tackling in life, sometimes the task seems insurmountable. But if you break that task down into small, bite-sized chunks, you can get the job done. Little by little, you're going to see that you have these little wins, and those little wins then feed into other wins, and then that feeds into another win. And the next thing you know, you've accomplished your goal. How can you take this concept of bounce back, finish strong to achieve your goals today?